your life. And so they are reproach, strong determination, familiarization with the open heart teachings and practices, the seed of goodness that is found in every being, and the power of aspiration. And we talked about aspiration last week. Not affirmation, aspiration. So we aspire to these things, and and so we make statements that are sort of are aspiring to. So reproach, like almost all of the things that we've been learning, can be backfire on us if we don't remember that there is something essential about this unconditional loving kindness, compassion towards ourselves. Because, you know, yelling out like that in public, you better be okay with who you are, you know. And so, and it wouldn't work if we're condemning ourselves. That's not the Buddhist approach. Doesn't go like that. No condemning. And so she says that if Ben's form of practice is an absolute no for you, then you might want to just ask yourself some questions. Have I ever done this before? Oh, does this way of acting or thinking feel familiar? And you don't have to say those things out loud. You can just ask yourself quietly, have I done this before? Did it turn out well? I mean, you know, just start asking. Because there isn't anything about ourselves that we don't really know. There's only about ourselves what we don't admit, what we don't want to see, what we resist, and what we don't want to admit. So, you know, her theory through a lot of the book is just start asking yourself questions. Asking yourself when I'm uncomfortable or when I'm doing something or when, you know, these feelings come up and somehow, you know, it's like driving the car, you know, 100 miles an hour down the country road. It might be fun, but it isn't good for us. So we need to start, you know, assessing that, wow, yeah, this feels great. And it's really going to turn out bad. And because I have done it before. and I remember this familiar feeling and these particular actions. And so the point of reproach, though, and this as one of the strengths that we must learn, is, I love this. It says the point of reproach is to develop enough self-respect that when we catch ourselves getting hooked in familiar ways, we can stop. Enough self-respect. You know, how often on your spiritual journey has someone said to you, you need to develop some self-respect? It's not normally one of the things, we say love yourself, you have to love yourself, but develop self-respect. Respect yourself as much as you respect the people that you admire, as much as you might respect your elders, as much as you might, you know, respect people that have a lot of knowledge or that are changing the world. Learn to develop that kind of respect for yourself enough to where you'll be willing to catch yourself when you get hooked on the same old crap. Now, in reproach, you're not disciplining the badness, remember? That's not the Buddhist way. You're simply getting smart enough to know the difference between what makes you suffer and what makes you happy. By admitting it, by watching it, by paying attention to it. So then there's the strength of strong determination, which is our commitment to our lives to dissolve, you know, war and aggression of any kind and judgment and all the things that separate us. It's the commitment to respect whatever life brings. So there's that word again. Respect. And you know, I couldn't help when I started doing this to do the R-E-S-P-C-T. I even looked up the song, the lyrics to the song, and I thought, you know, because I'm thinking, wow, I wonder what she's really saying about this, and it's not quite this. Thought I wouldn't go there with you, but anyway. But I want to look at the word respect for a minute, because it's defined as a willingness to relate to and to show consideration or appreciation for. So that's what this respect idea is about. Are we willing to relate to and show appreciation for everything that comes? That's just a basic Buddhist principle in everything. I mean, we've heard it in the past few weeks over and over again. We have to be happy with whatever it is and just let it show up, whatever life brings us. And so in all of these different practices, what is the point of letting all of the painful things that show up is that we use those things just like joyful things, to actually wake ourselves up and to actually open up our hearts and to connect with other people. You know, people who knew me back in the past, 10 years ago, would have told you, you can ask Mel, I was happy all the time, pretty much all the time. And one of the reasons I was happy pretty much all the time was I could not relate in any way, shape, or form to anybody's pain. I just couldn't, because I had been very masterful at like not having any. And the thing was, and I would get really in this place of like, well, why can't they just, why can't they just, why can't they just, why don't they just? And I remember telling my daughter when she was little, okay now, you've been crying about this long enough. Crying isn't going to change it, so can we move on? And I remember, you know, it was like that, because for me it was like, what is all this drama about? I learned since then what all this drama is about. But it is this place of opening up our hearts, these practices of letting pain in, so that we begin to know how the world feels to everybody, how the world feels to other people. So when other people try to tell us what's happening in their lives, or we see what's happening in their lives, we actually can relate to what's happening in their lives, not just go, oh yeah, so somebody, you know, this, that, or whatever, and wish they would hurry up and move on, because that's just not the wise way to live. So we use strong determination actually to keep ourselves in this place where we are going to stick with this, no matter what. And what we're not going to do is try to make ourselves comfortable all the time. Because that's one of the reasons we don't want to feel other people's pain, because we don't want to feel it. We want to stay comfortable. I thought about how many hours a day, or how much mind chatter or work a day, darn it, is about us staying comfortable. I mean, just think about this. Practically all of it. Practically all of what we say and do is about us guarding or expanding our comfort level, making sure it's okay. And I started thinking, you know, because I can just go for just these few, feeling hot, hungry, thirsty, embarrassed, stupid, blah, blah, all of this, anything that makes us uncomfortable. And so in this strong determination, we are determined to stick with those feelings, not run from them, not try to make everything better so that we don't have to feel them. Familiarization is another one of the 5 strengths. And it's the strength that with which we would learn these teachings and practice them daily. Now, we don't have to fool ourselves into thinking that, oh, you know, all these Buddhist practices, they're really nice, but probably I don't have that much stuff going on in my life. Because we have way more than that stuff going on in our life. It's like every opportunity, everything that comes, every one of those moments, every one of those judgments, everyone is all here to be practiced, all over and over and over again. And so the familiarization is really about using the practices to keep coming back to our heart, to keep opening up our heart. And I started to think, just imagine this, you know, no wonder Tibet was such an amazing place. Because imagine a group of people from the time they were born, through their whole entire lives, had learned and practiced not to judge, not about themselves, not about their fellow human beings, not about their actions, not about their words. Judgment is something we don't practice here. Just imagine that, because all of what we do and see out in the world that we make a mess of is all about our judgment. And if we thought everybody, including ourselves, starting with ourselves, was perfect and great and just this ball of divine love, and we thought everybody was perfect and great and just this ball of divine love, you know, I started to realize I'm not sure we are even capable of imagining that world, because we have so long been in this one. We have so long been judging. We have so long been prejudiced. We have so long been afraid that cutting through all of that is probably something that, you know, yeah, we can imagine it better than it is, but could we really imagine what it might be? I don't think that we really can.
quit landing. And there's plenty of room for writing. All we do and believe and think. So you compose a curse, or will today bring the blessings? Fill the page with a rhyming verse, or some random sketchings. Teach us to count the days, teach us to make the days count. Lead us in better ways. Somehow our souls forgot. Life means so much. Life means so much. Life means so much. Every day is a bank account. Time is our currency. So no one's rich, nobody's poor. We got 24 hours each. So how are you going to spend? Will you invest or squander? Try to get ahead or help someone who's under. Teach us to count the days, teach us to make the days count. Lead us in better ways. Somehow our souls forgot. Life means so much. Life means so much. Life means so much. Has anybody lived who knew the value of life? And don't you think you're all through the work of yours and mine? Teach us to count the days, teach us to make the days count. Lead us in better ways. Somehow our souls forgot. Life means so much. Teach us to count the days, teach us to make the days count. Lead us in better ways. Somehow our souls forgot. Life means so much. Life means so much. Yeah. Life means so much. Teach us to count the days. Teach us to count the days count. Every day is a gift. Every day is a gift you've been given. Make the most of the time, every minute you're living.